flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of silence for the soldiers who fought and died for us to have this freedom. Thank you.
Did you turn that on? Did you turn that? Okay.
I'll need a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda to tonight's meeting.
Oh, sorry, Colleen. Go
I
ahead.
didn't want to interrupt, it's fine. Are you okay? All right. The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate at the items marked on the agenda, public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the deputy supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did we get that motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion to approve the July 24th, 2023 town board minutes.
I wasn't here that meeting.
I'll make a motion.
You got a second of me.
I'll second it.
You guys are going to be active tonight. 3. Motion to approve the June 22nd, 2023 through July 24th, 2023 public hearing minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Authorize the payment of bills for this month.
I authorize to pay the bills.
I'll second.
I didn't get,
We didn't come down this way yet.
Mhm.
It's online.
do you have the sheet?
The sheet's over there.
This one. Yep.
I didn't sign it either. Today's day is the 14th.
Did we get our 2 motions on that last item?
Yes. Ed and Dave.
Okay, any comments on tonight's agenda? Okay, moving on to reports of departments and boards. Building Inspector, Tom?
Department report ending month July 2023. Certificate of occupancy 6, request for information 8, trailer park renewals 1, building extensions 13, fire inspections 4, stop work orders 1, order to remedy 3, police 21. Building permits, addition renovations 5, barns 1, burn permits 14, decks 4, electrical 7, generators 1, pools 5, roofs 3, sheds 2, single-family homes 1, solar panels 2, wood or pellet stove 1. Total permits for the month 46, estimated cost of building $994,627. Fees collected for the month of July, certificate of occupancy 1,050, permit extension 7,255, building permit 7,365 and 62 cents, request for information 1,600, fire inspections 400, trailer park renewals 175, fire inspection fees 575, permit fees 75, for a total of 17,920 and 62 cents of income.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Police Chief, Jerry Kokoza.
Activity summary for the month of July 2023. Personal injury auto accidents 4, fatal 0, property damage 6, for a total of 10 for the month. Summons is issued vehicle and traffic 178, 0 parking tickets. Planned activity, total blood entries 1,085, with a total of 25 arrests for the month. Telephone calls handled 1,189. Overtime full-time dispatchers 8, part-time dispatchers 15.
The number in there shouldn't be there.
Fuel consumption, 1,164.173 gallons. Use of force, we had one hands-on incident and one taser incident for the month of July. Parking ticket update, they are at the printers being printed. Should have them in a week or two.
Good.
Those are the new ones that we all went over with the fees and structure and court approval, and looking forward to it.
Good. Couple of questions, Jerry.
Absolutely.
Go back up to where the slide down a little bit. It looks like you doubled your tickets or something this month compared to last
Yeah.
year.
Compared to last year, so we have two fairly new officers,
Okay,
Zabrowski and Grievin,
okay,
and they work opposite shifts, and they have sparked some fire in some of our senior officers.
good.
So you see an uptick in tickets because life has been rejuvenated in some of the older guys who get down after a while. So that's why you see the numbers. No special details or anything like that.
Okay.
Hopefully it stays up. We'll see.
Well, hopefully people start driving right.
Bang would be better.
The other question I had for you, and I'm not positive about this answer, what do you have as far as covering your shifts for dispatcher for the full-time spot right now?
Currently?
Because one left, right?
Right, so we provisionally appointed Jasmine Lambert and Christina Jahowski, and then we had Jennifer Lambert.
Right.
Okay, so Lambert left. Right now, Emily Aldrich is not working provisional. She's just working full-time hours as a part-time officer.
Okay, so we're not gonna do anything to,
No, we were waiting for the list to come out. They just completed their typing test, so I should have the list in a week or so.
both of the ones we have filling those positions took the test?
Yes, actually, more people than.
I'm just saying, but
Right.
those two definitely took the test.
Right, so Christina, she's number one on the list. I
Okay.
found a little inside information, so that won't be a problem. Provisional, once the list is filed with us, that provisional will become a permanent position for her. And then, I think the theory is we're gonna offer Emily Aldrich the other open position. I do know we're competing with Ulster County 911.
Right.
It pays about $12,000 more than we do out the gate. I'm hoping that she's been here long enough that her heart is here, and 12,000 doesn't make a difference to her, but I strongly don't believe that, but I like to feel that way.
Sounds good, sounds good.
Right. And if she doesn't, we'll have to see who else is on the list. Kara Shire took the test. We don't pay enough for her to be able to survive with her current bill status, so she won't take it. We have one other person who didn't take the test who would do a provisional, but I don't think I could do a provisional when there's a valid test.
Test that.
So from that point, I can tell you my wife is on that list, and she
Okay.
will not take the job. And I know there's one other person, but I don't know who that person is. So once I get the list, there's 95 and 90 and 280s.
Gotcha.
So I know the top three. I just don't know that fourth person. We'll see what Emily decides to do. Getting County 911 is still a long process. I learned that they have to go to Montauk Falls for a week and live there for a week. That's not for everybody either.
Right.
So I'm hoping she's comfortable here and she'll accept the position, but I won't know until I make.
So the two more permanent ones you have now, the one that took the test and obviously yours, the head,
Yes.
they're on the same shift, Chris Rapoli shifts covered in the other one?
No.
The
So
overnight?
Jennifer's worked in 7 to 3s. Christina Jahowski works 3 to 11s.
Yeah, that's Chris, right?
Yeah, that's Chris.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Christina's working Chris's.
So the overnights are the one that's back again.
Right, so when we did the provisional with Jennifer, with Christina Jahowski and Lambert, since they were appointed at the same time, I made them rotate because there was no seniority.
Gotcha.
Now, Christina stayed, Lambert left, A-line,
Yep.
whoever takes that position is going to be straight A-lines.
Yep,
The only thing we can flex on is their days off,
correct.
only based on seniority, and that's contractual, so.
Well, they know what they're getting into when they get the job.
And they do get a shift differential, so. Something.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Reports from the Highway Superintendent, John Alongi. Councilman Zambito has that.
John Alonso, Highway Superintendent, monthly report for July 2023. Throughout the month, we installed millings along the shoulders of all the roads that were part of our paving project for this year. We did roadside ditching on Ridge Road and Lions Lane. We cleaned catch basins in Marlborough. On 7/5, a crew worked at the Milton Landing Pier installing new bumpers. We worked with the Water Department on 7/7, moving a shed and installing a new gate at the town park. At the Tomvac building, we continued to clean out the building, cleaned up trees and debris from the property. We assisted in installing new air conditioning in the ambulance office. Deputy Lazaroff and I attended a department head meeting on 7/10. We continued mowing and cutting brush along roadsides in both hamlets. On 7/12, we mowed Mount Zion Road and Reservoir Road for the Water Department. On 7/17, we worked with DiLorenzo Tree Care, removing trees at Milton Landing. On 7/24, we sent 3 trucks to Town of Lloyd to help with their paving project. At the end of the month, we had a storm and had to send out the chipper, cutting trees on Old Indian Road, Dock Road, Robin Drive, and Jackson Avenue. Fuel usage, gas and diesel were both not applicable. I'm assuming maybe because
It's not available, probably because of the computer.
the computer was down, maybe, Jerry?
So that's another thing. Although I got a fuel mileage, a fuel indicator, I got an email from the school saying that the numbers were not accurate.
Maybe that's why it's.
So
Okay.
the number I gave you,
That's why it wasn't
I gave
accurate.
my number, they couldn't actually get a number, so
Right,
that's what the difference.
okay. Respectfully submitted, John Alonji, Highway Superintendent.
Thank you, Dave. Water Superintendent, Charlie Maggio. Charlie, can you make sure that microphone's on?
Yeah, I don't think it's on.
Good evening.
Good evening, Charlie.
Monthly report for July. Our water consumption total 15,022,000 gallons, which is a daily usage of 485,580. Compared to last month, our total was 17,304,000, which is a daily usage of 576,800. Compared to a year ago, our water consumption was 18,803,000, which is a daily usage of 590,580. Summary for the month, billing. Bills were mailed out. If there's any problems with billing, feel free to give us a call. Curb boxes, we had to repair a curb box and stem valve on Tabor Place. Meters, we've been repairing meters that are in our wireless system that they keep on failing. We replaced 15 of them. Service lines, we had to repair a service line and shut off on South Street. Sewer repair, we had to repair and replace a sewer cone on a sewer manhole on Jackson Avenue. Water mains, we had to repair an 8-inch water main on Milton Turnpike with the help of the Highway Department. And we've been handing out sampling of bottles for lead and copper. Service line inspection, 1. Sewer line inspection, 1. We had 4 closings, markouts 25, gallons of gas used 190, and mileage 1,400. Just like as Jerry said before, we got numbers. I don't know how accurate they are. So,
Thanks, Joe.
thank you.
All right, Town Clerk, Colleen.
Town Clerk monthly report for July 2023. Burn permits 1 for $65, conservation 6 for $6.92. Dog licenses 30 for a total of $175. Transfer station permits 2 for $79. Punch cards 19 for $1,614. Marriage licenses 3 for $52.50. Building department fees 1 for $24,683.01. Fire fees 1 for $1,030. Camp fees 20 for $3,795. Accident reports 10 for $50. Certified copies 6 for $140. Clerk fees 1 for $170. FOIA requests 1 for $2.50. Junkyard licenses 1 for $300. Park fees 3 for $1,250 for a grand total of $33,412.93.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wastewater treatment facility.
Okay.
Ed has that.
Date is August 4th, 2023. For the month of July 2023, both the Marlborough and Milton wastewater treatment plants comply with all the SPEES requirements. The following are monthly statistics for both plants. Marlborough, average flow, 109,000 gallons per day, about 62% of design capacity. Average BOD, I thought it was loud enough. Average BOD removal, 97%. Average suspended solids removal, 95%. Milton plant, average flow, 32,000 gallons per day, about 58% of design capacity. Average BOD removal, 98%. Average suspended solids removal, 90%. Both the Marlborough and Milton treatment plants operate normally during the month of July without any major changes or events. The Water Department has received the necessary materials for the new aeration line at the Milton facility. We are just waiting on their schedule to clear up before we begin the installation. This job should not take more than a day or two and will be done in a way that does not disrupt our treatment process. We are all expecting our yearly DEC inspection to be performed sometime this month. Overall, both wastewater treatment plants are in good working order, but are getting older. If you need any additional information, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you. Julian Falco, Water Quality Management, Inc.
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
And our dog control officer from Andrew McKee, Manny has that.
Okay, Town of Marlborough Dog Control. Monthly report 7/1/23 to 7/31/23. Overview. We received a total of 16 calls in the month, including 4 calls to the service from Marlborough Police, the New York State Police, or Ulster County Sheriff. Responded to 4 active complaints and/or which are now closed or resolved. We currently have 3 open case or complaints. We impounded 0 stray dogs this month. 0 appearance tickets were issued this month. There were no dog bites reported this month. We have no dangerous dog cases under investigation. On Saturday, July 29th at approximately 10:30, Marlborough Police Officer Keith and Hensley performed a heroic rescue of a Yorkie that was drowning in the park front pond. I would like to recognize and thank them for their compassion and dedication. Thank you, and the report. Wow, that's pretty good. Those
Ed.
officers definitely need to be commended.
Jerry,
on
you have
that.
any more information on that?
So, a couple reported their dog missing, they couldn't find it. Patrol went and assisted Andrew to see if they could find it. It was swimming in the front pond, but it was exhausted and not able to keep its head above water. They were able to coax it to the shore far enough for Keith to walk in, knee deep, grab the legs, scuff of its neck, and get it out before it drowned. They did a good job trying to find it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Great job. Thank you. We got assessor. I don't see an assessor one.
We don't get those old.
No, I know. Yeah.
Planning Board?
Planning board. Oh, God. I'll take care of the planning board from Chris Brand. All the July 2023 application fees, $3,300. Escrow fees, $77.50. You want to take care of that?
Yeah, sure.
July recreation fees, 0, and invoices, $6,791. The July 3rd meeting was canceled. Next deadline, Friday, July 2023. What's that? Next scheduled meeting, Monday, July 17th. So meeting, July 17th. Attendees, Fred Callow, James Garofalo, Cindy Lanzetta, Joe LaFaro, and Bob Tronsolito. Pollock recreation fee findings discussion. Acting Chairperson Lanzetta read aloud the recreation fee findings for the Pollock site plan application. The board unanimously approved $64,000 in rec fees for the project. Missoula Oil Service, the board opened the public hearing, limited input from the public, and was closed. Board discussed final notifications from Ulster County DPW, New York State DOT, and Ulster County Planning. Board authorized their attorney to draft a resolution of approval for the next meeting. Kibomed on Old Indian and 9W. Board opened the public hearing, limited input, closed it. The board reviewed comments from their engineer, which included necessity for Ulster County Health Department approval for septic, New York State DOT approvals, stormwater, architectural review, parking, roadway dedications, landscaping, and proposed dumpster locations. Board also discussed signage and lighting. The board authorized their attorney to draft a resolution of approval for the next meeting. Youngsfield Aldrich. Board held brief discussion regarding the required mailings. Public hearing was closed soon after. Pat Hines stated his office comments had all been addressed. Board authorized their attorney to draft a resolution of approval for the next meeting, also to waive recreation fees. Zelda Matilda, 255 Crossroad. Board opened and closed the public hearing. Hines reviewed this confirmation received from building inspector regarding recycled agricultural usage of the building. He detailed narrowing of the access road, parking lot surfaces, and Ulster County Planning and Public Works comments. Board discussed the proposed gate to an adjacent property owned by the town of Marlborough. Board authorized their attorney to draft a resolution of approval for the next meeting. Diorio Zambito, application distributed interior details which were previously requested. Pat Hines, no new comments, reviewed Ulster County Planning comments. The board unanimously agreed the proposed project has no significant environmental impacts. Final approval unanimously. 4A Masterson, sketch subdivision. Two-lot subdivision on 31.38 parcel split by Old Indian Road. Does not recognize natural subdivisions. The board reviewed comments from the engineer, which include lot geometry, structures presently on the site, and water sources. The board also discussed alternatives to requiring perk tests. Authorized their attorney to draft a resolution of approval for the August 21st meeting, which there would be no significant issues raised at the public hearing. Santini subdivision, Mount Zion Road. Applicant proposed a 3-lot subdivision, 2 of which have pre-existing homes. Pat Hines requested the previous concerns as a location regarding landscaping business operating there. The applicant's representative stated the previous issue had been resolved and she could provide documentation to that effect. The board also reviewed the site distances for the proposed access points, boundary lines, offsets, and the possibility of requiring variances. The attorney for the board questioned what agreements, if any, were in place for the shared driveway. The applicant agreed to check on what agreements may or may not be in place. Willow Tree Resort Hotel, Willow Tree Road, sketch site plan. Applicant's representative provided updates since the April meeting when they last appeared. The proposed project will now include 30 cabins and a main facility with some associated structures on the 50-acre site. Fire Chief Werber questioned the width of the proposed roadways on site and requested a dry hydrant be located in one of the larger ponds on site. Pat Hines reviewed his comments, which included an increase in the proposed number of cabins, access to the site, stormwater regulations, restricting permanent residences on site, fire access, architectural review, site distance, traffic, security, noise, setbacks, parking, a whole lot of other things. The board also discussed possible concerns from neighboring property owners, possible events held on site, and additional traffic concerns. Wash and Shine, 560 Route 4455. The applicant proposed the consolidation of 2 lots, one of which has an existing gas station and convenience store. The adjacent lot is vacant and would be combined with the other lot with the intention of constructing a self-contained 1-unit car wash. Pat Hines' comments including coordinating with DOT to discuss access points, survey information, piping, site topography, runoff, permitted uses on site, site development details, lighting, hours of operation, parking, traffic flow, landscaping, and driveway widths. Deborah Jones, 98 Orange Street, sketch subdivision. The applicant proposed subdividing a 2.4-acre parcel with single-family residence into 5 lots. Pat Hines indicated Orange Street and Orchard Street terminate at the property line, which would require a cul-de-sac with private access from it or its extension of the roadways. The board discussed having a town road transitioning to a private road and how current town code does not permit that. The board also discussed water and sewer extensions, road frontage for newly proposed Lot 3, locations of utilities, rights-of-way, setbacks, limits of disturbance. SHPO review and roadway status. Next deadline, Friday, July 21. Next scheduled meeting, Monday, August 7th. Respectfully submitted, Chris Brand, Chairman, Town of Marlborough Planning Board. Okay. Moving on to reports of committees. Recreation Committee, I don't believe we have anyone here from Rec Committee. Emergency Management Preparedness Committee, we're going to skip that. Conservation Advisory Committee, Mickey. Okay.
Good evening. The summer vacation schedules of members dictated some changes in our July and August meeting dates as well as turnout, but we continue to plan for future presentations to the public as well as our ongoing work as a climate-smart community. I believe that the town board received a rather lengthy written report in July explaining the meetings member Kozarek and I have had with people from the Hudson Valley Regional Council and the Cornell Cooperative Extension of Ulster County, as well as some of their associates. Through our relationship with them, through the Climate Smart Community Program, we have been invited to join a cohort of communities known as Clean Energy Communities. The Clean Energy Communities Program is funded by NYSERDA, and with the recent increase in their program, the town has the possibility of up to $100,000 in awards as we successfully follow their format, which basically mirrors the Climate Smart Communities path to bronze certification. Participating in the cohort lends the CAC assistance of the cohort team in gathering and reporting data using their guidance, suggested templates, and analytical formats. This will save the CAC so much time and give us professional expertise that will help us toward meeting our bronze certification goal. To formalize the CAC participation with the HVRC and the CCEUC in this regard, and for admission to the cohort, tonight the board is asked to adopt 2 resolutions which outline the CAC's roles and duties to undertake a community greenhouse gas inventory and community climate action plan, and the second resolution that supports the CAC in establishing benchmarking requirements for certain municipal buildings. So we thank you in advance for your support. In the past, I've explained that the CAC wants to have a more noticeable presence in the community. I spoke with Sheila Manisi of Meet Me in Marlborough and having a table at the Farmers Market and the Bounty Festival. She is open to that, but suggested that I obtain board approval to be able to represent the town there rather than her approving a town group specifically. So I don't know if you need a motion to that effect, but I would like the board's okay. If you agree, then we can plan accordingly. As always, the public is invited to like our Facebook page and participate with us on environmental issues. Our next meeting will be on Wednesday, September 6th at 6:30 at the Marlborough Library. Respectfully submitted. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mickey. Okay, moving on. IT Committee, there's no updates. Milton Train Station Foundation, I don't have anything in front of me. Milton Landing Citizens Committee, nothing new. We could touch on something in a little bit. Marlborough Hamlet Economic Development Committee, nothing new. Meet Me in Marlborough.
You didn't get
No.
anything, right?
No. Hamlet and Milton Association Committee and the Transfer Station Review Committee, nothing. I have item 9, a presentation from Jacqueline Moore, Program Director for Ulster County Street Outreach Program with Opioid Overdose Prevention. And I don't believe there is a Jacqueline Moore here, so we're going to skip on over that. Old business, Tom Vac rehabilitation update. Supervisor Corcoran will provide this update at the next meeting. Item number 11, new business. This is to waive the pier fee for the historic fireboat John J. Harvey. They contacted us. It's a retired FDNY fireboat that does displays and takes community members out for free tours up the river. They don't go too far. I think they just go out and they spray their hoses and stuff. It's got something like an 18,000 gallon per minute pump on it. I mean, it shoots a lot of water and looks pretty spectacular. They wish to visit on September 3rd, which is the Sunday of Labor Day weekend. And They were just asking to waive the commercial pier fee for it. They're going to provide whatever insurance is needed.
I make the
Okay.
motion to waive the fee.
In a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Correspondence is from the Lions Club, from Frank Carfarcio. Would it be possible for our Lions Club to use the Milton train station for the September 6th dinner meeting from 5:30 to 8:30? Anyone want to make a motion for them, the Lions Club, to use that and waive the
Is anybody...
necessary fees?
You have it in the book? Okay. I'll make a motion to waive the fee for the Lions Club.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Public comments. Does anyone have any public comments they'd like to? Rosemary? Yes, I was hoping that.
Huntley Gill, who is, I guess, I don't know if he's the captain or he's very involved in the John J. Harvey fireboat, as Gail said, was in touch with us, and they have been trying to come to the landing for a while. He comes up to this area all the time. So I asked him what their exact plans were for the 3rd. They're going to be overnight in Poughkeepsie, and they'd like to come. They're going to come in the morning to set up, and they can plan to do public trips from 12 to 5. They could take 75 people at one time up, and they'll do up to 4 trips. And they'll do, of course, the water displays. They always do that. So they said when they organize it, they'd have a reservation system, and they charge a small fee, which is refunded to the people once they're on board, because they are a nonprofit, and this is they have a grant to do this program. And so I just wanted to give you that information. They said we could do the reservations ourselves. They just want to know how many people will be coming and how many trips. So I don't know if we should, Gail, the Milton Landing Committee, maybe work with the rec committee to,
Yeah, that sounds
on
good.
this?
You
Is
don't
that
have much time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have much time because
Yeah.
it's short notice. Okay, all
I
right.
mean,
That's,
is it on the website too? I mean,
yeah, we'll get it. I mean, I guess we'll try to arrange something this week.
Yeah, this was only like late last week,
Yeah, I know, I
right?
got
I mean, it's pretty new, so.
What's the date?
September 3rd.
3rd.
And how many people?
75 people at one time, so they'll do up to 4 trips.
they'll do up to 300 if everybody...
Yeah, yeah. So they'd like to know just how many people will be coming. And I think we'll meet the police there. Hmm? Yes, okay.
It'd be nice to know how many people too, so if you guys find out, let me know, I'll try to get that.
Okay.
Determine how you guys do the reservation, so they do, we do it.
Yeah, maybe we can, the rec committee is pretty active right now, so maybe they can really jump on this.
Then I can judge how many people, that's all.
Okay.
Hopefully the train's stable.
Yes. Cross your fingers. Okay. Any more public comments? Mickey?
Just to follow up on my report, I don't know if I need a motion, but I would like to know if we can have a table.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve CAC to have a table at the Bounty Festival and the Farmers Market to represent the town of Marlborough in the education of the CS, the Climate Smart Community, CSC, and make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. So moved. Thank you, Mickey. Any more public comments? Okay. Moving on to resolutions for the evening. Get that. Yeah. Resolution 76 is to accept a quote for the Milton Landing kayak launch. Deputy Supervisor Appler proposes the following. Whereas the town was awarded a Hudson River Estuary grant in December 2021 for an accessible kayak launch at Milton Landing Park, and whereas a scope and specification document had been developed, and whereas the town of Marlborough procurement policy requires 3 quotes, and whereas the town received the following quotes: Dock Doctors, $55,000, Board Safe, $49,522, Kayak Access, $42,927, whereas after review by the Kayak Committee, Board Safe was the best fit for the needs of the town, and whereas Board Safe offered to oversee the installation of the kayak launch with our highway department, and they install the dock, and Board Safe also offered training on how to install and remove the dock yearly. Be it resolved that the town of Marlborough accepts the quote from Board Safe for the Milton Landing kayak launch and moves for its adoption.
Yes.
Councilman Cowkey,
Yes.
Councilman Zambito,
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, you need 3 votes, don't you? Don't you have to have Deputy Supervisor Gill, you need 3 votes?
You can't vote.
Oh, you can't vote?
You can't vote, no. It's a
No, you got
non-voting
3.
position.
So as long as the 3 of you
Just had
approve,
3
we got
votes.
it.
Oh, okay, we have 3, okay, that's right, we have 3, okay, sorry.
Moving on to resolution number 77 to reappoint a Board of Assessment Review member. Deputy Supervisor Appler proposes the following: whereas an advertisement was placed for an open position on the Board of Assessment Review, and current board member Joel Trincali was the only letter of interest received. Be it resolved that Joel Trincali be reappointed to the Board of Assessment Review effective October 1, 2023, with a term date ending September 30th, 2028, and moves for its adoption.
Councilman Molinelli,
Yes.
Councilman Cowkey,
Yes.
Councilman Zambito,
Yes.
Resolution number 78, to undertake a community greenhouse gas inventory and community climate action plan. Deputy Supervisor Appler proposes the following: whereas the town of Marlborough pledged to take part in the New York State DEC Climate Smart Community Certification Program that includes the preparation of a community greenhouse gas emissions inventory report and community operations climate action plan. And whereas a community greenhouse gas inventory is the inventory of greenhouse gas emissions created by the entire community. And whereas free technical assistance is available to support the development of the inventory and plan from the Hudson Valley Regional Council through a New York State DEC Climate Smart Communities Coordinator Services contract. And whereas a completed inventory and plan count toward Climate Smart Community certification, specifically PE2 action, Community Greenhouse Gas Emissions Inventory, and PE2 action, Community Climate Action Plan. And whereas the Climate Smart Task Force, comprised of town officials and environmental volunteer community leaders, will collaborate with HVRC in the development of these publications, review drafts, and provide valuable feedback on iterations that result in the final draft. And whereas the task force will provide an opportunity for public input and comment on the draft report, and whereas the task force will present a summary of the inventory results and draft community operations climate action plan to the town board for consideration of adoption. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby undertake a community operations greenhouse emission inventory report and the community operations climate action plan. And be it further resolved, the town board authorizes submission of these documents to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Office for climate change for consideration of points towards climate smart communities certifications for the town of Marlborough, and moves for its adoption.
Councilman Molinelli,
Yes.
Councilman Cowkey,
Yes.
Councilman Zambito,
Yes.
This is another long one. Oh, boy.
Just town clerk.
I think that's for Colleen, yeah. Okay. Resolution number 79, to establish an energy benchmarking requirement for certain municipal buildings. Deputy Supervisor Appler proposes the following. Whereas buildings are the single largest user of energy in New York State, the poorest performing buildings typically use several times the energy of the highest performing buildings for the exact same building use. And whereas collecting, reporting, and sharing building energy data on a regular basis allows municipal officials and the public to understand the energy performance of municipal buildings relative to similar buildings nationwide, and equipped with this information, Town of Marlborough is able to make smarter, more cost-effective operational and capital investment decisions, reward efficiency, and drive widespread, continuous improvement. And the Town of Marlborough desires to use building energy benchmarking, a process of measuring a building's energy use, tracking that over time, and comparing performance to similar buildings to promote the public health, safety, and welfare by making available good, actionable information on municipal building energy use to help identify opportunities to cut costs and reduce pollution in the Town of Marlborough. And whereas the Town of Marlborough Town Board desires to establish procedure or guideline for the Town of Marlborough staff to conduct such energy benchmarking, and now, therefore, it is hereby resolved and determined that the following specific policies and procedures are hereby adopted. Building energy benchmarking policy and procedures, definitions. I'm going to skip over that. I'm going to skip over the definitions. We can read that.
Yep.
Applicability. Policy is applicable to all covered municipal buildings as defined in Section 2 of this policy. Benchmarking required for covered municipal buildings no later than May 1, 2017, no later than May 1st, every year after the commissioner or his or her designee from the department shall enter in the portfolio manager the total energy consumed by each covered municipal building, along with all other descriptive information required by the portfolio manager for the previous calendar year. For new covered municipal buildings that have not accumulated 12 months of energy use data by the first applicable date following occupancy for inputting energy into the portfolio manager, the commissioner or his or her designee from the department shall begin inputting data the following year. Okay, let's move through this. Maintenance of records. The department shall maintain records as necessary for carrying all the purposes of this policy, including but not limited to energy bills and other documents received from tenants or utilities. Such records shall be preserved by the department for a period of 3 years. Enforcement and administration. The commissioner or his or her designee from the department shall be the chief enforcement officer of this policy. The chief enforcement officer of this policy may promulgate regulations necessary for the administration of the requirements of this policy. Within 30 days after each anniversary date of the effective of this policy, the Chief Enforcement Officer shall submit a report to the Town of Marlborough, including but not limited to summary statistics of energy consumption for covered municipal buildings derived from aggregation of benchmarking information, a list of all covered municipal buildings identifying each covered municipal building that the Commissioner determined to be exempt from the benchmarking requirement for the reason for the exemption and the status of compliance with the requirements for this policy. Effective date, this policy shall be effective immediately upon passage. Severability, the invalidity or unenforceability of the section, subsection, paragraph, sentence, clause, provision, or phrase of the aforementioned sections as declared by the valid judgment of any court of competent jurisdiction to be unconstitutional shall not affect the validity or enforcement of any other section, subsection, paragraph, sentence, clause, provisions, or phrase which shall remain in full force and effect, and moves for its adoption.
Councilman Molinelli.
Yes.
Councilman Kauki.
Yes.
Councilman Zambito.
Yes.
Can you fill us in on some of that?
That's actually what I was describing in my report.
Yes.
And I do apologize, this was a template solution. And I did send, just to further clarify something, I did send an update to Tina this morning, and she did not make some very clarifications. The commissioner, the department, as you read it, the department is the Conservation Advisory Committee.
That's what I was wondering who was, yeah.
Is the town supervisor. So
Who's the chief
That would be the town supervisor.
So he's got to file reports?
He tells us to file reports.
And then you just report to him?
And we report to him, so, I don't know if you want to,
Does that need to be amended?
send this back to you again. It's basically, the rest of the wording is basically the same, except that May 1st date is not applicable, it's as of today's date.
Okay.
All right.
And what this does, actually, it just tells the people at, it's the Valley Regional Council and Cornell Property Extension that Marlborough wants to participate.
Yeah.
This is, it's not binding. If the CAC cannot do it, nothing's going to happen to the town. It's just to make sure that the people in charge know that the town is aware of what we are doing as a CAC with the Kind of Smart community and with the cohort.
Okay.
And that's good going forward.
Then we will tell you to make suggestions on how to reduce that. Which, yeah. Right. But Marlborough, I just wanted to really congratulate this town. Marlborough has already done a lot to reduce their energy consumption, and the fact that we have a solar farm, that's going to be very beneficial for the town. So we're all moving forward. You know. It's nice to have it documented, and it's nice that Marlborough can have this identification.
Thank you.
Okay.
So would you, yes.
So the benchmark requirement for, after that, on number 3, instead of May 1st, it's supposed to be today's date here?
How about if I just give you this?
Yeah, why don't you give me that, so that way, and then we can amend it for the corrections?
The
and approve it
definitions.
as amended?
Like the definitions of,
Yeah, for where it should be Scott for the
Yeah.
chief.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, so we'll take this and just put it into the minutes as this sits instead of all of that. Is that what you, I would assume?
I would assume. I mean,
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify
For-
that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known that that this version was not the one that you got until Gail started to read it.
Yeah, so Scott's supposed to be the chief enforcement officer as well. Okay.
No, it says
Okay.
it.
and
all right.
CAC is the department.
Yes, okay. So that's, okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll keep that, and then we'll put this into the minutes, and then maybe just make a motion to put what Mickey gave us into
Yes.
the minutes as approved.
So someone make a motion for adoption as amended, as Mickey explained.
I will make a motion to adopt it as amended, as Mickey just explained to us.
Second,
I'll second that.
thank you.
Just the last one.
Okay, resolution number 80, to approve a proposition by the Sarah Hall Halleck Library. Deputy Supervisor Appler proposes the following. Notice of submission of question to voters of the town of Marlborough at the next general election. Notice is hereby given that pursuant to New York State Education Law, section 259, 113, and in accordance with the provisions of the New York State election law, the following question will be submitted to the qualified voters of the town of Marlborough at the general election to be held on 7th day of November, 2023. Shall the annual contribution of the town of Marlborough for the operating budget of the Sarah Hall Halleck Library, Free Library, be increased by $36,700 to the sum of $109,200 annually? $189,200, sorry. Further notice is hereby given that said election shall be held at the Town Hall and St. Mary's Hall in the town of Marlborough on the 7th day of November 2023, and that the polls will be open on that day between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. and moves for its adoption.
Councilman Malinelli?
I just have one question. That's always on the back of the ballot, right?
Yes.
And I think a lot of people don't ever turn the ballot over. I think whoever the people that are in here doing the election probably tell them there is more on the back, because I know it's there, but regular people in the community don't know it's there, and half the time they don't vote on that. So I think if we maybe get together with the people that are giving out the ballots, that would be a great idea if they said that to everybody. So
They'll do a mailing, and then we usually have a table, it's flat, like, down
right here,
there,
yeah.
And remind people to turn the ballot up.
But if we can get the people here, they're all from Marlborough, they'll help you out with that too.
So we're increasing the budget as increasing the service or capital improvements?
It's, no, it's an operating budget.
They don't have
It's-
enough to operate.
Our operating budget has not been increased since 2018.
Okay.
So that's not a penny, so we need to, all the work being done in the library is capital grants. It's not from Assemblyman Jacobson and Senator Scoot. It's not operating budget. It can only be used for construction, for state senate and assembly for construction. So we don't really have any money to do these capital programs unless we get these grants. So this is for our day-to-day operating budget, just like everybody's business costs have gone up, the libraries have gone up, so.
Understood.
If they're asking that question and talking, I say yes. You already
Okay.
told me.
Councilman Kauki,
Yes.
Councilman Zambito.
Yes.
Okay, item number 15, Councilman Malinelli.
Yes, I think it's time at 7:50, this beautiful evening, that we adjourn.
I'll second that motion.